I love Stranger Things, especially the first season. It has that certain creep factor that is rather missing later on. Now, don't get me wrong, I also loved the later excursions and diversions. And Bob Wise the Brave, who makes the very fires of Mount Doom seem like a nice sunny day at the beach. But there is just something so special and chilling about the original that I had to look into it, overanalyze it, and will animate what I found. Why Stranger Things Season 1 is the creepiest. Knowing there's danger out there versus knowing there's danger right here. Now, just throwing this out there, all of this is in great fun, so grab a flashlight and a blowtorch and I'll guide you through the twisted tunnels of my overanalysis. Spoilers abound, let go. The danger is in your neighborhood. Hey, it could happen. Season 1 opens with an emotionless shot of the ominous high-tech laboratory, for the 80s, which is anything but emotionless inside. Chaos, absolute havoc. A scientist is snatched in the elevator by an unknown entity. High jump scare drama right away! Then contrast that with a cut to a group of kids playing D&D in the unsuspecting sleepy town of Hawkins, where the worst thing that has ever happened is that Owl attacked Eleanor Gillespie's head because it thought her hair was a nest. Oh, Hawkins is so unprepared for any danger. It's scary, and it's lurking right in their very own Mirkwood. We're in a small town with small town problems. The first order of business for the Sheriff Hopper is that someone's garden gnomes have been stolen. We do eventually find them in Stranger Things, the game. Sweet. Second most important, of course, is that Joyce thinks her son is missing. Second, yeah, there's a psychotic murderous bully, and thankfully Eleven deals with him eventually, but rewinding back, things get really dark for this really small town really fast. The unknown danger is very close to home, and everything is foreshadowing. Everything. Makes you keep your guard up for the entire 8 episodes, turning that creep factor up to 11. Get it? Sorry. Next season opens and we are certainly not in Kansas, Hawkins anymore. We are not in a small town and this crew is not dealing with small town problems. We meet a new gifted and just like that, our world has doubled. Back in Hawkins, yeah, the big problem is scrounging up enough quarters and mitigating a rotting pumpkin feud, but we know not all is as it seems. While a majority of the episodes still center around Hawkins, knowing there are other gifted out there, maybe other cities like Hawkins, takes away some of the urgency and fear around the happenings in Hawkins. Events feel less close, less dire, because hey, the world we know and have grown to love may just be a very small part of something very large, and ultimately won't matter in the grand scheme of things. Now, I do have to say, the Stranger Things crew does an amazing job keeping the viewers engaged with the stories and the characters throughout, but throwing us instantly into a bigger city does shatter the intimate creepiness of Season 1's smallness in a big way, and right off the rip at that. The monsters. The danger you don't know. The Demogorgon can appear anywhere. Neck hair standing up because something's watching you? You know it! Well, not watching exactly, but smelling your life essence, your blood. Jump scaring you to the ends of the earth and then dragging you into the upside down. We don't know what this monster is or what it looks like until way later in the show. We see a hint of form on the road, a quick shot of it stalking towards Will through the laundry. It is menacing and eerie and unknown. All these quick cuts and not seeing something long enough to process it leaves a gap for the imagination to fill in. Thank you, signs. And if you have an overactive imagination, you will scare yourself more effectively than any of the effects ever could. Throw in the beast hijacking telephones, messing with electricity, effortlessly ripping portals into closed rooms, the faceless, and then, my, what number of teeth you have, countenance, and we're in the stuff of nightmares. You are never quite safe. There's nowhere to run, and every time the hallway light flickers, your heart still skips a beat. Or that could just be me. Because Elle's powers so closely match the Demogorgons, we spend a lot of the show wondering if, in fact, the boys are harboring the beast. Paging Season 2 Dustin. Inviting the danger in. Again, the danger is close to home. Super creepy. Lucas voices this after Eleven leads them on a goose chase by altering the magnets. We're looking for some monster, but did you ever stop to think maybe she's the monster? Dun dun dun! Fast forward, where the Demogorgon just emanates murderous intent, the mind flare is majestic. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a behemoth grace to it. Doomy, dreadful, awe-inspiring, yes, Scary? Not so much. The mind flayer is also usually shown wide angle and far away, distant from us, excluding Will, of course. So the danger is less of a threat than that of the Demogorgon, which can pop up out of your wallpaper at any given moment. The mind flayer is immensely monstrous right away, but while it's larger than life, it also kinda just looks like a tornado-y brain synapse. This makes sense at first as we think we're in Will's head, but really, this fog monster is so incorporeal, and usually that would give me major chills that it's more of a tornado than a beast. And well, yeah, I freaked the heck out during tornado warnings. I was not so scared of this baddie. And I was more angry at than scared of the demo dogs. I'm sorry, kill a cat and there's no redemption in my eyes. Poor Musy. Get out of town, Dart. And even though the Upside Down is now encroaching on Hawkins, the danger from the Mind Flayer and Demo Dogs is less, it could happen to you at any given point, creepy, and more, alien invasion, take me to your leader, epic. Fractured parties. Easy pickings. The first rule of horror movies and D&D campaigns, don't split the party. Well, in season 1, we start apart. Super creepy right away. We've got one taken kid trying to survive the Upside Down alone, one taken teenager who didn't quite make it that long in there, 4 kids against a terror and mystery too big for them alone, getting strong Super 8 vibes. One mom knowing something is very wrong and going to any lengths to right it, despite resistance at every turn. One gruff and tough sheriff with a heart of cookie dough digging in a little too deep. 2, maybe kinda 3 teens working out the disappearance of their classmate and friend and brother. These small separate groups make Will's disappearance, the rogue monster, and the secretive murderous lab feel too big for any one group. You know, or at least you hope, all the groups will connect, but while they're separate, the weight of the whole situation pervades the whole mood. I was just waiting for the monster to pick them off one by one. While we're here, let's talk about Joyce, specifically no one believing her. Her gut instincts are spot on, but to everyone in Hawkins, she's just a crazy grieving mother that no one takes seriously. She's even more alone than any other group, besides Will in that sense. And this feeling that you are all alone, facing a terror only you know to be real is, to me, what makes season 1 the creepiest by far. It hits the closest to home, it is the most frightening. When the next season opens, all of the teams are, of course, on the same page. We also meet a bunch of new characters, most notably Bob, the ray of sunshine, Max, the master tunneler herself, Billy, thirsty much, and Kali and crew. Yeah, our world expanded. We also get to see more of the town, more people, more life. The teams, while sworn to secrecy, are no longer alone as they navigate the new threat. Owens and the lab are now on their side. Speaking of which, the mysterious government agency. This national lab is as much of a threat as any monster in season 1. The lab under Brenner is not a fun place. Under the quaint guise of local power company, the agency employees seem to outnumber Hawkins citizens. They are anywhere and everywhere. Every citizen's home is bugged, it seems, and there are apparently unlimited people hours to monitor the phone lines. Brenner has no issue dispatching citizens who see just a bit too much. He has no qualms sending people on fool's errands into the Upside Down to investigate. Through Eleven's flashbacks, we know he's a sick, two-faced manipulator who specializes in emotional torture. Even Joyce and Mrs. Wheeler pick up on his controlling vibes and voice how much he gives them the creeps. With all of this going on, it seems like our ragtag teams are up against the ruthless government agency just as much as they are up against the unknown beast, hiding and fighting on 2 fronts, all the while trying to find Will and keep Ella secret. Again, the danger is in our hometown, and the people we trust are in on it as well. While Owens is head of operations, there is no real threat from the bumbling lab to the teams. In fact, they have a working relationship. Yes, they still bug phones, devote way too much manpower to intercepting Jonathan and Nancy, but no citizens are caught in the crossfire like they were in the Brenner regime. Quite the opposite, in fact. They listen to music and goof off while the lab goes to heck and have no clue what's wrong with Will, aren't doing anything to make him better, and are terrible at putting the pieces together. Did the town pool dry up for this government agency? Where do they find these clowns? That never would have happened with the Brenner crew. Creepy, mysterious government agencies causing strife to a small town is more bone-chilling than said agency bumbling their way through the fallout of their botched experiment. When the citizens have to inform an all-knowing agency what's really going on, it feels less urgent. Once it's clear that the lab has less clue than the tag teams, the whole show feels like a battle against aliens, and it is too big for the small town of Hawkins. It becomes kind of unrelatable on a daily level, losing much of the creep factor. Pacing plays a huge role in creepy, of course. Season 1's tight pacing launched into Demogorgon killings right away, and from then on, every event was a plot revelation or a serious foreshadowing of events to come. There was no respite. It was a ruthless pace that kept up the whole season. We were constantly trained to look for danger, anticipate it, sit on the edge of the couch, and hold our breaths. The following season had, well, breathing room. This makes sense as there were loops to close from season 1 while introducing plot points and characters for future seasons. I enjoyed it and it is cohesive. Is it creepy? No, not really. We do get to see some slice of life moments that we just didn't have time for in season 1. 11 has some serious questions to explore, so while everyone in Hawkins is frantically making a last stand, we go on a jaunt with Elle to find Mama and check out the big city. Are these important events for her character arc? Heck yes! Is it badass? Heck yes! Does it take away from the urgent pacing? Heck yes! Does it feel dire and hopeless and creepy? Psh, heck no. I kinda forgot what we were doing. Alright, last stand. The endings. Season 1 wraps up and we have returned to normal. Everyone is mostly happy, or at least pretending to be. Or not. Okay, at least they are mostly safe and accounted for. Or not. Well, at least this family is back together. Most loose ends tied up and everything is fine. Except for one little hiccup. Ooh, creepy. Looks like we're not out of the woods yet. In season 2, we are literally having a ball. Most people still get their happy endings, but the not-so-subtle threat of the mind flayer looming over the school building in the Upside Down tells us, we messed up so bad, expect retribution. Not much for the imagination, definitely not subtle. We got a baddie coming our way real soon, and I for one really hope it's Billy because reasons. But this is less creepy and more Armageddon alien invasion. Ah! Take all of these parts, the openings, the closings, the scale, the team situations, the pacing, the ruthless agency, and the monsters themselves, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew, and you have the ultimate reason why season 1 is the most creepy. It hits you right in your heart, right in your gut, right in your very own utility supplier. Hey, it could happen. After that, things just get too big. I understand why. The same exact small town formula wouldn't work again, sure. But what wasn't working was the actions and emotions of those in the small world of Hawkins and the lab didn't scale with the present danger, which is now approaching alien invasion level. This is actually a trend I've been noticing for a while. The Netflix show Dark, which I totally recommend if you like Stranger Things by the way, also suffers from it. In that, the universe the world takes place in is small but fantastic, spooky, and intimate. Then, for the last few episodes, things just go beyond the scope of the world pitched to us throughout the whole series, ending with something even more epically sweeping and out of place. As a viewer, I feel like the rug is pulled out from under me, and not in a good way. I feel like I lose the connection I had to the world and the characters, and I also lose trust in this show. Now, like I said earlier, Stranger Things does an excellent job of keeping the viewer connected, but the scope change is quite epically disorienting and way less close to home could maybe happen creepy. It does feel like an 80s horror flick nostalgia bomb though, so that's definitely working. And with that, our delve into my mind is at a close, but what are some of your thoughts on Stranger Things? Hopes and predictions for the series? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this upside down adventure. If you're new here and want to be notified right away when I put out another animation, subscribe, ding that bell, and now we have to go and check all in our preferences. I upload every 3 to 4 weeks, so I promise I won't be spamming you. I don't know. Anyway, welcome and catch you soon. Goodbye!